Guys, Mr. Rees here, Algebra 2. Today we're going to talk about section 4.2, which is graphing from vertex form. So I've already done standard form. Today it's vertex form. Quadratics. Quadratics pretty easy to identify. You have an x squared term. I make it quadratic. Graphs will be U-shaped, kind of like that. There's some key features of the graph here. Today we're going to focus on these first three features: axis, symmetry, vertex, and y-intercept. Again, a lot like standard form, but today is vertex form. So this thing right here with this H and K is what we call vertex form. You've seen something similar if you were paying attention from absolute values. This H plus K thing, it was the same thing for the V graphs, except today we're going to be talking about U graphs. So these are actually kind of nice to deal with. A is the same as it was before. If A is positive, it opens up. If A is negative, it opens down. If A is large, you will talk about a wider graph. If A is small, you'll talk about a wider graph. For the H and K value, H is a horizontal shift, is why they use H, so it's left or right. The thing is, it's opposite of the sign. Well, you've seen that before, and we'll talk about that again. The K value is a vertical shift for the graph. And so up and down, and it's the same direction as the sign. So we'll kind of do some examples there. The big thing here with vertex form is the vertex is given to you straight away. The vertex of the graph is HK. So you can see that right away, and it makes it really convenient. When we deal with vertex form graphing, so we'll go through the steps here. To find the axis of symmetry, it's just the H value. That's all it is. You don't have to do anything fancy or anything more. To find the vertex, it's just HK. There's, again, no calculation. You just drop them in. That's it. The only time you actually need to use a calculation is when you're dealing with the y-intercept. So when you're talking about the y-intercept, we're dealing with plugging in 0 for x. Some people mistakenly put the last number for k, and it's not really it. It's really you plug in 0 for x, you get 0 comma something. Whatever you get out there, that would be the y-intercept. Really important piece. As you're going to go through and graph, okay, so you have this example like this. We have to find these three features: axis of symmetry, vertex, and y-intercept. Well, the easiest one to start with here is the vertex. Again, you don't have to do anything. You just look at it. It's the opposite of the inside number and then the outside number. Given that, then you know the vertex, the axis of symmetry, this number is always the same as the axis vertex, so those are identical. So we really don't have to do anything there either. For the y-intercept, you do have to do something. So that's the stuff that we've done before, is plug in 0 for x, showing the math there to show that y is equal to -3. And then so yeah, as you're listing it out, you have the x value of 0, that's what we plugged in, and the y value of -3, which we calculated. So of this whole thing, the only thing you really have to calculate is that number right there, the y part of the y-intercept. All right, now to go ahead and graph, we're just going to put these parts on here. The easiest point to start with is the vertex, so we put that on there. Draw the vertical dotted line in, that's the axis of symmetry. That's the mirror. We have a mirror image on each side. Throw in the y-intercept there of down 0, -3. We'll mirror image that point over, and we kind of flip it over to the other side. That'll give us the 3 points we need. And then now we can go ahead and draw in the U-shaped graph. As you can see, this one opens up, which we would have expected because the a value is 2 in this case. It's basically how you graph. One other little skill that we need to be able to do is convert from vertex to standard form, and this is just order of operations and FOIL combined. So we're going to go through and say, hey, we got to square this binomial, this x minus 1, so we write it out twice. Once we write it out twice, we can actually FOIL it with itself, so that's x times x is x squared, x times 1, 1 times x, and -1 times -1 is +1. Then we'll go ahead and just distribute that 2 through to all the things in the parentheses. And then at the end here, we combine like terms, and that's our resulting standard form. So going from vertex to standard form is really just algebra manipulation, PEMDAS, and FOIL. You need to know a number of things today. Here they are, the little rundown. Thanks for watching. Again, this is 4.2 from Algebra 2. Good luck.